Hey friends, I want to tell you this super cool story that happened to me today. It was very encouraging to me, and I hope that it's really encouraging to you as well. So, my son and I are at the soup kitchen that we volunteered at, and so today this man walks up to me and he says, I miss you. And I was like, what are you talking about? I'm here every Tuesday. You're the one that hasn't been here. Like, I've been here. And he says, yeah, I know. And I was confused for a second, but then I took a moment and I realized, oh, you're working, which is a beautiful story. And he said, yeah, absolutely, I'm working. And then he said, I want to thank you for everything you did for me. And honestly, I didn't do that much. I took some time and I waited with him and talked to him and helped him fill out some applications. But more than that, the thing that I think really made the difference, right? Because those didn't take that much time. I sat down with them for an hour here and there and do that. What I did do was when I worked at this particular soup kitchen, I spoke life into him and talked to him and gave him tasks to do, and he helped. He had ownership of what we were doing. And so I delegated things to him and I cared about him. And delegation, we have all heard like how it's super good for us, right? It takes things off your plate, you feel better, things are awesome, you have less stuff to do. And that's true. That was true in this case. But the other thing that delegation does, especially when it's your family, your kids, people in like this type of situation that you're serving, it tells them two things. One, tells them that you trust them. You are giving them something to do. It also tells them you have a confidence in them to actually get that task done. And so when I ask him to do the dishes, put them up, he knew, one, I trusted him to be in the back with the volunteers that were both on the street and not on the street, right? We had people that would help us from the street and not from the street, living in homes. And I trusted him to be around them. I trusted him to make the decisions. I trusted him to show up. I trusted him to put things where they went. And I also had confidence that he would be able to do those things. And whenever you give someone something to do for you, and you give them clear instructions and guidance, and you care about them as they're doing it, their confidence will go up exponentially because they know that you trust them and that you believe in them. And so, yeah, we want to delegate so there's less stuff on our own plates, right? But we also want to delegate because we're serving the Lord as we do it, because we're building each other up. Isn't that such a glorious and beautiful thing that we get to live in this body of Christ who not only do we get to serve one another, we get to build one another up, we get to encourage one another, we get to be there for one another and just strengthen them. And so my encouragement to you, my friend, is to take that time, because delegation does take time. Would it have been faster for me to just do those dishes and put them up? Yeah, at first, it definitely would have been. But as time went on, he was actually better at it than I was. He was actually really good at it. And then I had time to do other stuff. So we get this twofold benefit from doing the things that God has asked us to do. And you're thinking, like, when did God tell us to delegate? Well, I'm going to tell you a story in the Bible that God talks about, right? Here we are in Exodus, there it is, in Exodus 18, starting in verse 13. So I'm going to read it straight from here because God's word is just perfect the way it is. The next day, Moses sat to judge the people, and the people stood around Moses from morning till evening. When Moses' father-in-law saw all that he was doing for the people, he said, "What is this that you're doing for the people? Why do you sit alone? And all the people stand around you from morning till evening." And Moses said to his father-in-law, "Because the people come to me to inquire of God. When they have a dispute, they come to me, and I decide between one person and another, and I make them know the statutes of God and his law." Moses' father-in-law said to him, "What you are doing is not good. You and the people with you will certainly wear yourselves out, for the thing is too heavy for you. You are not able to do it alone. And I really like this because I feel like his father-in-law is like asking this question, and he is asking it. Like, why are you doing this? What are you doing? But it's kind of rhetorical. Like, he knows that Moses thinks this is what he needs to do, but obviously it's not. And he is not pulling any punches about this, right? He tells Moses, what you're doing is not good. This is going to wear you out. And that is the truth. If we try to do everything on our own, we will be worn out. It is not good. And so when his father-in-law asks him, why are you doing this thing? He says, because the people come to me to inquire of God. Moses thinks that he's doing exactly what he needs to be doing because, God did give him this responsibility. And the thing is, God gave you a lot of responsibilities too. But he doesn't expect you to do it all by yourself. He does not absolutely expect you to do it all by yourself. So we're going to talk about 4 ways that we reason with ourselves and the mindset shifts that we need to take to be able to get out of that and actually be able to serve people well by delegating, right? Moses in here is reasoning that he needs to do it because the people are coming to him. And that's exactly what was happening. But as his father-in-law points out very clearly, this is not a good idea. You need to stop, right? So my friend, if you're in the same boat, it's not a good idea. You need to stop. Okay, so here are the 4 big ones that I hear and that I know about that I think that we as moms, entrepreneurs, all the hats, we reason with ourselves that these are the things that we need to do, right? So the first one is because they came to me, right? Just like what Moses says in here. They're coming to me, they obviously need me. Maybe they do need someone, but do they need you? They are coming for an answer, but does it have to be from you? Are you the one that needs to do this particular thing? Or could you give it to someone else? Are you taking someone else's blessing by taking on things that are not for you? Everything's not for you. Everything's not for me. Just because someone asks does not mean you have to do it. That is the mindset shift. Mind shift change that needs to be done. Woo, tongue twister. Is that just because someone comes to you does not mean it's your responsibility to fix that problem, to do that task, to do whatever it is that they're asking you to do. It is your responsibility to filter it through and decide if it's good for you, good for your family, if it's going to hinder something in you, and decide what is your response. Don't just say yes because someone asks you. And that is what we quickly do when someone comes to us. Often, I feel like I do for sure. Someone comes to me and asks me something, I want to just say yes because I want to serve them. I want to do right by them because I care about them and I love them. But that doesn't necessarily mean that's the best option. So that is the mindset shift that we need to take for answer or for number 1, which is because they came to me, that doesn't mean it's necessarily my responsibility. The second one is because I know how. Because I know how, I shouldn't ask someone else to help me with this. Also not the case. Just because you know how to do something doesn't mean it should be your responsibility. Maybe it's your responsibility to teach somebody else how to do it. Maybe it is your responsibility to let it go, even if you do know how to do it, but you don't have the time and it's not good for you in the season that you're in. You have to filter it through why you do the things that you do. We always are filtering, always wondering, is this good for me? Is this good for my family? That's number 2. Number 3 is because it's my responsibility and I need to do it alone. Now, this is some pride, all right? They all can be very prideful, but this one is more blatantly pride, and I understand because I have been here. It is my responsibility, so I need to do it by myself. I decided to do this, so now I need to handle it. I decided to start a business, so I need to handle all the business stuff. I decided to have kids, so I need to always be the one watching him. Now, that's just pride, okay? It's okay to ask for help. That is the mindset shift that you need to switch there. Is help is good for you. Help is good for you. Let other people help you in your business, in your family, with your children, in your household house runningness. That's not a word, but you know what I mean. So you have to be able to say, yes, this is my responsibility that it get done, but it's not my it's my responsibility that gets done, but it's not necessarily necessary for me to be the one to get it done. I just have to oversee the fact that it does. See how that shifts right there? The fourth one, and the final one that we're going to talk about, is because I know how to do it right. That one's pride too. They're all kind of pride. But like, I know how to do it right. And if I give it to somebody else, maybe they'll do it wrong. Maybe they will. But maybe they'll do it right. And maybe they'll do it better. And maybe as you train them and things get better and better, that your whole business or your whole family life gets better because you let them do it. You entrusted them. You instilled the confidence in them that we talked about earlier. And because you trained them in the way that you wanted to do it. See that? You see how that's different? That's where we want to go. That's what we want to do. So my friend, it's not just okay to delegate. It's not just okay to give other people pieces of your responsibility that you're going to oversee. It is a good thing. And so my challenge to you is to let some things go. Look at yourself and see which of those four reasonings is most in you. And ask the Lord to help you let that go and to find the places in your life that you can give others around you responsibility and that you can oversee or say no to altogether, like that first one, because they came to me. That is my encouragement and my challenge to you this week, my friends. I'll talk to you later.